Hello, happy Saturday. It's hot, not that unbearably hot because of the heavy rain last night. Today is the 13th of July 2024. It's a Saturday. So here it's a weekend, of course. In some parts of the world, it's still Friday night, Friday. So we're really for us in this household, we have dedicated this day for housekeeping. And I know that whatever you're doing, I hope that you would keep me company and that this podcast will reach you wherever you are and whatever you're doing. This is Clarisse T, and welcome to another episode of my podcast. How's your day with Clarisse? For this episode, today, it's Saturday, I want to present a picture. Okay? It's not fiction. I know that I've been talking about some really non-fiction episodes and situation, but the difference is previously it was not widely regarded as non-fiction. So to get it further, to steer my viewership and subject matter that I've been doing into the reality realms, into what's real, I want to talk about these two establishments actually here in Pleasantville subdivision. This is a subdivision where I live here in Lucena City, province of Quezon, Republic of the Philippines. And these two establishments, I say establishment because according to the local business registration here in the Philippines, these two houses are licensed, permitted to one is to hold an office and the other is for rental. So these two houses, establishments here in Pleasantville, we have one thin wall. So we get to listen to what's been happening at the other side of the wall. And for our part, it's safe to assume that we will be heard as well, whatever we're doing, and if we are talking to each other loudly, screaming, or someone is being tortured. I'm sure whoever's on the other side of the wall will get to listen to us as well. So I don't know if the, the loud singing can filter in. Anyway, it's not about that. Obviously, it's about no, it's not obvious. What I want to present is the picture, the behind the scene, and what had led to this moment. Even though there's not much in terms of great event, a milestone happening today, Saturday, July 13th, but it's the same way for a grand event and for an ordinary, usual day. Many things would have happened in order for the situation that we have on a grand day or a very usual, ordinary day to take place. So, the loud singing of different party makers, party goers, in my humble professional ear, actually, it's quite enviable. They're having a great time. Their mood and their laughter, um, it is very clear that creating a flawless and impeccable music to earn a living is not their goal. Their goal is to have a great time, to sing their heart out, to sing their hearts out, and to enjoy each other's company, to laugh at each other, to laugh with each other. So they have no pretension. They are just having a great time, and they have rented a place maybe for a day or two just for their special occasion, special moment with each other. And on the other hand, the other side of the wall, yours truly, Clarisse T. I am here with my daughter, although we just had lunch. So, if I would be asked, of course, my claims would be contrary to theirs because I make music professionally and I expect to earn money for that. So, I would claim that I am a professional music artist. I am a professional recording music artist, and it doesn't, it will not matter if I will not be believed to be telling the truth or to be praised for the music that I do. But it will not change the fact that I went through the proper procedure in order to have my music released professionally. So the choices are very stark, isn't it? That on the 13th of July 2024, within in between us is a wall, and on one side of the wall is professional writer, even to a certain extent, even if it is like a self-proclamation. And on the other side of the wall are the party goers, and they are many and they are enjoying each other. So, what does it mean? I mean, the picture that I am making. Are different choices leading to this moment, are they sinful? More or less, setting a goal, I don't think it's sinful unless you go out of your way to go against God's directives, right? But along the way of pursuing our goals, of course, we can't avoid making, committing sins and committing mistakes. So, but aside from the little mistakes, not little mistakes, but everyday mistakes and everyday sins that we commit, the goals that we have set for each other, it's not outrightly sinful and outrightly righteous or correct. For to certain extent, I can say that to certain extent, the choices that led me here and now, which had meant declining invitations, which had meant turning down moments like how they were enjoying themselves, being amongst peers. Probably they are professionals in their own way. It's just that not in line with the music industry or short film industry. They are professionals in the way that, if I can hazard a guess, like a very respectable office worker or government employee, or a private officer of a private company. So that because these things will enable them to afford it. Because if they are jobless, if they don't have work, probably one of them will have the means to pay for the event, for hiring of the personnel, or renting the place. So in my case, Because I had chosen the field that I have, which is the music industry, then therefore whatever is in store for me in my chosen work or profession, that's it. I cannot pretend to be an office worker just to, pretend that I am earning salary so that I can enjoy the company of friends as well, because I cannot be a freeloader all the time. So, in declining some work and in declining some social gatherings, the choices that I made can be assessed whether what is it was were those choices sinful, or those choices automatically render me as being quote unquote holy person and that spending time with friends and which to a certain extent, if it's you know a weekend getaway, something like that would have taken them away from the more dangerous pastime and outrightly bad leisure time, right? So are we, because the choices that we made are starkly opposite of each other, which one of us is earning God's approval and which is sinning? Can I offer another perspective, like if I have done all those things and when I had decided to stick it with to my profession in the music industry, and I did it for the Lord, and then this group of people who also made choices to live their life according to their profession, to their choices, and they were doing it also for the Lord. So even though the choices that we made are different, the motivations of our heart and our intent really matter now. They're really screaming and they're cheering each other on. I don't think, diba, I to, s- to a certain degree, I it brings me back to uh, those times that I too was able to be part of different social gatherings and merrymaking party. But this is the choices that I made. A legalist will see something wrong with what they're doing, and I don't think that you know they are. Since these guys did not aspire to be at the place and time where they would have to say their piece and speak for other persons, they have no, they did not have to observe decisions and choices in life that will take away that chance to become, somebody who would who should be given a chance to explain the creation, the businesses, the decision making of the past. And in turn, had I, given in to, to allowed to none, I don't think they are sinful. I don't think there's anything wrong with being with friends. But it's just that that those moments would take away the chance that I have come the remaining days of July and August up to 2025, to be the person who it turned out to be, not the problematic Clarisse M. Talaga Garcia, who should not be allowed to speak for herself because of so many issues, like being entangled with the person who was quarrelsome, who was bastos, who was, who could not be reasoned with, who could be moody, who could be, laughing out loud in one moment and then crying on the next minute without apparent reason. All these things I speak of the journey leading to this moment, which I had able to pass by, and wherein they those what description and characterizations have no more power to be a cause for me to be denied the right and the privileges to speak for myself and my work, and to assert for my for the kind of work that I do and for the work that I had done. So it's a trade-off, actually. I had to decline pretty safe and wholesome, not sinful, not sinful leisure time with friends because of the purpose that I have. And if, I offer no judgment, because before I was convinced, before I was of this, before I was this person, before I had this life purpose, I too was enjoying myself in the company of friends, partying, and that enjoying a great abundance, which actually, I would call blessings after blessings. But because of the choice that I made, the purpose that I had decided to seek through to the end, the objectives that I had, which I continue to have, it had meant like the choices where, if the person who will have the funds to shop and to to watch movies in the big screen, who can afford that, if it had meant being the clerk, Clarisse the clerk, and not the music artist, then I would have to content myself with another source of leisure, how I would pass by my rest day. If a clerk, an office worker, a staff of someone, if that would be the only way that I can afford a car, then the music artist Clarisse would have to be a commuter. So it's day by day choice. It's a daily and moment by moment choice. Like if the staff of a great and noble person, a prominent personality here in Lucena City, being a staff is not a bad job description, right? But if it had meant not being the professional writer and singer, then I had to turn it down because it was not the life that I had chosen for myself. So even though I had nothing against any employer, I had nothing against, it's not about pride. It's not about thinking highly of myself, but it's about the objective that I would have to compromise if I had compromised one after another. And so, in order to stick to the choice, to the purpose that I have, I had to forgo what I had normally could afford and what I normally could do. So, and to do it not as a miserable person, but, you know, being cheered by the reason I'm doing it. That if I am doing all these things for the Lord, then it is the Lord who will have to gratify my needs at the right time and in His way, because I have done all this not out to spite another person, or just to prove myself to be some kind of good person or intelligent person, or a superior being. No, I did not do it. If I had communicated, if I if I have given that impression at any point in time in the past, then I at the end of the day, I know that I would be made aware of it and confess and go right back to the original intent, which is to leave the choices that will achieve the purpose that I have set for myself, which I know, I am confident that it comes from the Lord. But for the merrymakers, if that's why, if they are doing that not just to not just to catch the attention of another person, or to make themselves seem better in their mind, it's very futile for me. It's very futile merrymaking. But if it's sincere and they are really enjoying what God had given them, like a rest and the moment to celebrate with each other, and they are doing it for the Lord, so no problem. Both sides of the wall would be right with the Lord. That's what I believe. If a person is abstaining from the food that is offered an idol, and if the person whose faith will allow him or her to eat the food that had been offered to the idol, so it still applies to us. And then there's the reason for this episode as well. I want to call your attention to the time before man had unlocked the the mystery behind the elements, and behind the potential of the natural wonders, that the formula had been discovered that can rival the natural disasters that can kill so many people all at once, and can bring destruction to the earth, to any place within the affected area. It used to be that, before the physicist, the theoretical physicist, Einstein and J. Robert Oppenheimer had taken the major steps to bring about the realization of what used to be mere theories. And it's very curious that the people who had been instrumental in making these theories into a reality come from who said to be the God's people to bring about the message to the rest of the world of His presence, to His nature, and to His ways and means. In order to do that, the Jews as a race would have to be equipped, would have to have the knowledge and the mental faculty, as well as inherent skill and ability to survive and to use their imagination to find the ways and means that are naturally against the knowledge that they are bringing to the rest of the world. They would have to be equipped divinely in order to survive any forces that will hinder their mission, which is to introduce the one true God and the Messiah as a way to reach the one true God. And so this knowledge and this natural ability would can be expressed and can be manifested with a diverted goal, because it's already there, and the free will that everyone has could be could have been exercised any other way. And so it happened. So I would think that the theater of war from the time of Cain and Abel to reflect the conflict between man against man. It used to be very physical. It started as a physical, from the history of man. We Bible believers would regard that as the a starting point of the conflict between man and another man. And then this conflict would be carried to another storyline through weapons and firearms that can effectively prevent the actions of the enemy. And then the evolution of the weaponry, wherein self-preservation would be can be a need that can be fulfilled, like in unmanned drones, so they can still harm the enemy without the personal danger to themselves. So that is a design for the kind of weaponry. And then it happened that we have reached the peak. I'm not saying that it is the peak, but we have leveled up that the catastrophe, the human man made catastrophe, is beginning to equal the natural disaster in terms of the nuclear capability. So, what can ordinary, feeble person like us who love God and who can pray to Him for protection and for, you know, for how can we, pitted against these unrivaled threat against our mortality, against our puny body. We don't have the capability that strong men and strong nations will have. That because men have been able to reach the potential of their imagination in order to create a device wherein, in a manner of speaking, in this theater of war, in this conflict, we are able to devise and to make our own quote unquote angels of death through our prayers. Of course, we are imploring God to act in our behalf in order to be protected by the threat, the existential threat drive us to our prayer room, at every minute of the day to pray for God's intervention, for God's action against a reality that used to be just theories. They are mere theories. Now what's the other side of the force? Like, what is the force that can suppress or can be superior over man-made, weapons of mass destruction? The existential threat, like directed against us, God's people, and our prayers for Him to act in our behalf, on our behalf, would also unleash another kind of force that is natural to counter the force that had been created, man-made. If if the nuclear capability will be broken down, we can find, the elements and the basic functions of elements that had been worked on to their full potential to unleash their capacity, their potential. And so it will take another form of elements that can be worked on to unleash the counter force. And it shouldn't come as a surprise, because as we pray for protection, our prayer to deliver us from evil, wherein how we look upon evil from times of past would be like a Goliath frame of physicality, physical strength, the brutality. But what is a legion of brutal men and women to the capacity that men have already built in the arsenal. And some have said this is, climate change. Indeed, from the time that the theories have become a reality, it had seemed that God will not take this sitting down as well, and that our prayers would be heard and would compel Him to action. And and it's becoming more and more apparent, and the scientists have a term for this, like climate change, where the weathers are being erratic and they are not conforming to the usual pattern, and that the strength and the viciousness, they are they are in keeping with a force that is being built up as well on the other side of the wall. So it's been said that prayers can make can move mountains, and it's so very true. So this is it for now. Thank you for listening. This is yours truly, Clarisse T.